So, I've been wanting a model of Oliver for a while now. I was debating on whether I should get the Bachmann model or make my own out of 1400 auto tank. Don't get me wrong, I think the Bachmann model is pretty good and is actually one of the more detailed Bachmann Thomas models. However, it's based on the CGI render of Oliver, and it has a lot of problems. Most notably the raised boiler and the ridiculously tall and thin funnel and dome. It wasn't until I saw the first installment of Tug's Trains where I realized that you can really be creative with making your own models. So I went with the decision of making my own to make it a little more model series accurate. But the more I think about it, even the model has some weird design choices, like the wheels and the awkwardly placed 11 on his side. So I was going to change a few things. Something I think a lot of people overlook is how much these things will cost. Because I'm an unemployed teenager, I had to go to eBay and buy a used old Airfix 1400 auto tank. I won this auction for around $30, which was great, but because it was in the UK, shipping cost just as much, unfortunately. But I was fine with it because, well, okay, I wasn't really, but there weren't really any cheaper options. $60 for it was decent in my books. It came in about 2 weeks later. I started by removing the weird tit thing at the top of the dome with a file, as I preferred how the rounded dome looked. I then started painting. The paints I used were by Apple Barrel. I used a gloss paint for his body and a matte paint for his footplate. I used a gold enamel paint for his second dome. I prefer the gloss finish for Thomas characters, like how they were in seasons 1 to 5, as opposed to the matte finish in season 6 onwards. I know it's not really realistic, but I wanted Oliver to match the rest of my Bachmann models. I also didn't use a primer for this because I didn't think I needed it, but trust me, you need it. I ended up doing more coats of paint than I needed to if I had just used a primer. Trust me, I'll use it for almost any project from now on. But the end result wasn't half bad. The shade of green looks a little bit brighter than it actually is in certain lightings, which is a bit annoying, but it's something I'll lose sleep over. I was also going to paint the wheels green as well, but the more I looked at it, I preferred the black wheels. I then painted the silver bits with a silver Sharpie, and I kept the smoke block door, in case I needed it. It was around this time where I was still deciding on how I would do the face. I then found out that Thomas Modeler Fan 96 on Twitter did commissions for 3D print files of Thomas faces. I asked him to make Oliver's happy face and angry face. Looking back on it, I really only need the happy face, but I wanted an angry face because I didn't have any other faces for the rest of my models besides their normal happy face, so I wanted a bit of contrast. My friend had a 3D printer, so he printed them out for me, free of charge. I painted them, and I'll admit I could have done a better job, but they looked fine. I also printed my own decals with a color printer. I made a GWR logo and a number 11 in the style of Duck's number 8 to complement his design. I did a quick Photoshop before I printed it out, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to like it, but once they were applied, I fell in love with the design. I would like to replace the GWR logo with a water slide transfer someday, but this will do for now. After I put on the face, he was done, and I was so satisfied with the result. Not the cleanest job I could have done, but he still looked great. Here's some footage of him running around my layout. Overall, I love this Oliver. I might redo him one day if I'm being honest, but he will always be significant, as he was the first custom model I ever made. I want to do more custom models in the future, like maybe Stepney, Duke, Boko, Bear, Spencer, maybe even Diesel 10. And hey, I might be working on something right now. Thanks for watching.